Hi, welcome to Facebook Live. I'm Burgie, and this is George Cleary, and we are very excited to be here at the Cleary headquarters talking today about the power of connections. First, I thought I would share a little story about my connection with George and why I'm here today. We've worked together now for, I think, 8 years. Which is hard to believe. Time has gone by really fast. I own a marketing and advertising firm, and George and I met through the association of the National Association of Remodelers. And I had done some networking there in a presentation, and I think he liked what he heard, or someone did, and so they referred me, and I got a call from George. So George, why don't you tell us a little bit about Cleary for those people on live who may not know about you?
Right. So thank you, and thank you all for attending. It's fun to do these things, so we hope that we can keep your attention for 15, 30 minutes, whatever we decide to do. So, but again, George Cleary with the Cleary Company. We are a remodeling source for you. We do everything from design, build, remodeling, high-end projects, to kitchen and bathroom at the same time, to front porch, back porch at the same time. We do all types of remodeling, mostly in residential settings, but often in small commercial settings. We're standing in one of our remodels. We remodeled a huge building here that's now our headquarters in the northwest area on Old Henderson. But we also have a couple other product offerings, I like to say. Home services, Cleary Home Services, where we do small projects, things that are glorified handyman type projects, things that typically don't involve design work, and that's really going well recently. And we also do bath to bath. Maybe you've heard of that, but it's a quick turnaround, economically priced bathroom service where we aren't removing walls, and we've got some pre-vetted collections, and that's been going really well as well recently. So that's what we do. We always say to our clients, we'd love to be your yellow pages. So if there's something that we can do to help you with referral to somebody to clean your gutters, to design a project, or to build the project, please start with us first.
And I'm sure many of you are familiar with the series that Cleary's been doing. Each month we bring in folks to help connect you to live better, be better, and ultimately build a better home and life for yourself. And today's Facebook Live is all about connections, because truly what George and I have both learned over the years of running a business and doing work in our communities is that the power of our connections really impacts how we live our lives. And so there's a blog on the website that we talk about some different connections, but today I wanted to kind of quiz George and have a little fun and teach you all some of the things that he has learned and that I have learned when it comes to connecting, about how it helps you move forward and live a better life. So the first connection that I kind of wanted to talk to George about was if you could tell me on a personal level, who kind of helped you, or what connections helped you get to where you are today?
Yeah, great. Easy one for me to remember. I went to a local school here, Bishop Watterson High School, and that freshman year, before I became a freshman, I met somebody on our football team, and his father was a flipper. He actually flipped houses, and I won't age myself, but it was decades ago. So I didn't really have a childhood where I grew up with anybody in my family knowing anything about construction, so it was kind of my construction 101 at that time. So I learned an awful lot from this guy, and his name was Vince Ireland, God rest his soul. But he taught me an awful lot about plumbing, electric, drywall, demolition, and we were flipping little $12,000 homes out by the airport before flipping was cool. But he really empowered me to kind of learn the business, you know, so that was a long time ago, and he put a lot of trust in me. And then from there, Barb, it was another mentor of mine, Chuck Bortz, who I met through the same connections, two of my classmates at Watterson. He owned a hot tub place. So I was plumbing hot tubs when I was, I don't know, probably a sophomore in high school. And I just had a good knack for doing things right, and they trusted me. And so I got to grow in their organization pretty quickly. And so those were two people at a very fundamental learning sponge age, I call that, when you're that age, to really be able to learn quickly. And I got exposed to a lot, and it really just got me excited about doing things.
That when you talk, you bring up the word trust. And I think that's a really core value of both of our companies. I think it's one of the reasons we connected quickly and knew we wanted to work and partner together, is because there was innate trust. You knew your limitations, what you could do as an organization. I knew what I could bring to the table to help you grow. When you think of other other companies like Burgie, MediaFusion, that you have that implicit trust with, who have helped you grow from where you started, where I remember you guys over off of Kenny Road in your initial building, and we've heard stories from when you used to be in your basement of your house when you started the Cleary company. Who are some of those trusted advisors and trusted connections that help you grow into this amazing facility and a team of well over 20, and who kind of helped you professionally, and what kind of connections would you maybe suggest to other folks?
Yeah. So I'm always a big fan in coaching. I've always been an athlete in my life, and I realize that only the best of the athletes and business people really get to where they really want to get with the coach. I'm not the smartest guy in the bus, so I would beg to differ. I would always rely on people to help me get educated and help me, advance myself. So Orla Coakley was my first business coach, and I met him through NARI, through the National Association of Remodelers, and that was 25 years ago. My wife and I would sit in my old basement, my first house on Edgevale, and we would talk to Orla about the SWOT analysis, some of the fundamental things about building a business. And anyway, so from there, it of course was ingrained in NARI, and with NARI, I met Remodelers Advantage, a company that I'm a big peer networking group that I belong with, and through them I've met other industry professionals and people that have turned that relationship into another relationship. And again, NARI's comes back to NARI, the National Association of Remodelers, where we met, and the value that you've brought to our business. Again, you're kind of a coach to us. So I rely on those types of people. Action Coach is another business coach that we use that do wonderful things for the Cleary company in supporting our culture and making sure that our hiring processes are right, and making sure that our professionalism is always paramount, making sure our production staff is embraced and appreciated the way that they deserve to be. Again, I always like to say I know what's going on, but I need support to help make sure that the ship sails in the right direction as fluidly as it has been.
And I think that it's interesting that you talk about the coaching, because to me what coaching means is that you're a lifelong learner. If you're willing to be coached, it's often a sign, from my knowledge and my work experience, if you're willing to be coached, you're an ideal partner, because it means you're willing to accept and change. So as you think about that, when you think about your ideal partners to work with, ideal clients to work with, tell me a little bit about what is an ideal partnership for you and how that helps with the connection and the build.
Right. So that kind of reminds me of a conversation I had just last week with somebody that was a vendor of ours, and they were wanting to know how they could get more of our business. And I'm like, it's simple. I tell every vendor that wants more of our business, take care of us. And that doesn't mean about the price. Sure, we want a good price, but we want that relationship. If I'm good at anything, it's building a relationship and fostering that relationship. So the relationship doesn't start or end on price. When we need something, we need it. If there's a problem, support us through that problem. If there's an opportunity to learn about an innovative product in that marketplace, let me know about it before my client finds about some new marketing or some new innovative idea. I don't want to learn about that through our client. So I'm like, you've got to be our leader. Help us know our industry better, because the power of the internet, people can click it on and find out something I'm not even aware of. Don't do that to me in front of our clients. Let us, help us be the expert educator. So again, for me, it's very easy to cultivate those relationships and to make sure that we're able to deliver a dynamite product to our clients.
One of the things also that I think I want to point out, at least in today's Facebook Live, is the concept that every time I've ever had a question regarding my house, and I call it the Home Fix-It in the blog, I always knew that Cleary offered those resources that I could call in, and that I never felt like I was asking too much of a favor or you were bothered by the call. Tell me why that is and why that's become a core value of the Cleary company to be the Yellow Pages. Mm-hmm. And because it's something I think the entire staff has embraced. Mm-hmm. And that's a real unique feature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's something that we focus on, because we are who we are, and yeah, we do good and we make mistakes, but we own those mistakes, and we're going to do the best that we can in every avenue that we can. But I really despise when you read the Sunday paper or you hear somebody saying something that happened to their mother-in-law's, remodel project. That just irks me. So I always want to take care of people, and I want to keep people from being taken advantage of, So we do a lot of that. And that's why I have always said, let us be your Yellow Pages. Maybe it's a project that the Cleary company can't do, but we have 26 years of experience in this business to be able to refer you to somebody, whether it's a realtor or a home inspector or somebody to clean your gutters. Those are things we're not going to be able to do in-house, but through our connections and our relationships, we have a wealth of knowledge. So even people that have been born and raised here sometimes struggle with who would I call for that, but a lot of our new clients they're from out of state, so they have no idea. We've been asked who would you go to as a dentist if we moved into Worthington. They trust us, so it's like boom.
Exactly, and that is that key. It's that trust, and once you build that with someone, what I appreciate about the Cleary company is you maintain that. Another thing that I think you mentioned was, you care about people. And the Cleary company shows that in so many different ways, this series being one of them, where it's not just focused on how can we sell you something or do something, but I've always been so impressed with how much you give back. And one of the ways that I know you are currently really excited about is looking at Pelotonia and the Peloton that you have created, and the passion and the care that goes into that. So can you share a little bit for folks who may not be aware of your long legacy with Pelotonia and what your goals are for this year?
Yeah, so I love it. It's a great organization that is dear to my heart. I've lost some of the most important people in my life to cancer, so I want to give back anywhere that I can. But Pelotonia is just a fantastic organization. So those of you that don't know anything about it, shame on you. Get online and find out something, because it's a fantastic organization that does nothing but dedicate monies to research dollars that will help all of us in the future. Everybody knows somebody that is either passed or struggling with or a survivor of cancer. Everybody. So it's a great organization right here in our hometown, and I hope that it can spread globally. But for right now, I have been part of it since the second year. So I think if this is year 12, I've ridden 11 years, and I push myself every year to ride the 2-day ride, and it's grueling and painstakingly beautiful, but it's just what I can do to give back to that particular community. People that fortunately I don't have cancer and hopefully never will, but there's so many people that do, and it's a little bit that I can do. When I fundraise for it, it all goes to a good cause. I have so many wonderful contributors that have, maybe I asked them the first year, but they come back every year. They remember that I ride, and they make a donation. And I tell them, you were gracious to me last year. Don't feel like you have to. George, we budgeted to do this again. This is our commitment. You're doing the hard work. Least I can do is write you a check. So thank you to all of our contributors. And we're still doing it this year, even though it's kind of gone virtual. And this year I decided that I wanted to do a Cleary Peloton. So I'd take another hour and a half, Barb, but I bet there's good stuff that maybe we want to talk about. And Pelotonia is at the top of those. So please do check out our website if you're at all interested in being part of our virtual team this year. We are doing a group ride tonight. So I'm excited to get out on bike trail tonight and continue our support for Pelotonia.
That's awesome. We too at Burgie MediaFusion have avid riders in our own Peloton, so yet another connection and commonality between the Cleary Company and Burgie MediaFusion. The next and final question that I thought we'd kind of run through, we've talked about trust, we've talked about caring, then there's the ins and outs of getting things done on a given day. And oftentimes I find in my world the right connections, the right tools in my toolbox allow me to complete tasks at such a fast pace. They connect the dots for me when I don't know where to go. So if you were to share with those watching today, maybe the 5 most commonly used tools and or connections, people that help you move the needle faster, quicker, better, to help you in business and life, who would those people be and what do they do for you, so that other people might say, hey, I don't have someone like that. What should I be doing? Can you share that with us?
So you and I were talking briefly about a book that I was reading that says to surround yourself with people that are where you want to go, and then you can become the sum of those people. So if you're hanging out with people that aren't necessarily really motivated in leadership or team building or business growth, then find people that you can hang out with that are going to push you a little bit and educate you in that field of interest. So that's one thing. Again, back to the coaching and the mentoring, surround yourself with people that are better at what you want to do than you are, and then get out of the way. Something that I know we have all said, that's Steve Jobs' line, but somewhere recently I think I read or was told that it wasn't even his, somebody else had that idea. But nonetheless, I'm a big firm believer in that. So let's see, other things that we do. I can't speak highly enough about the employees that we have here. I mean, it's not me being fake up here talking about it, it's real. There's a lot of great karma in this building, and I think it's because we hire right. We have a slow hiring process, and I know it to be true. It's an honor to work here at this company. The people that are here are really dynamite, hardworking. We have pulled through this COVID like you can't believe. People were not paid. We reduced hours immediately because we weren't sure what was happening, and people still gave it their 110%. So it wasn't soon until we realized that was not fair and it was not needed, because our phone continued to be fortunate to ring. We were an essential business. So it's absolutely an awful lot about our employees. So then to take it further, it's our vendors. Our vendors are dear to us. And again, there's so many of them that are really great. That I rode on Hamilton Parker's Pelotonia team for a couple of years because they were trying to build some momentum. Before then, I rode with Stephanie Spielman's Team of Hope and created some wonderful, lasting relationships with people that I rode and got to know there. A lot of those people have turned into clients, just not because of me wanting and asking them for their business, but it's just that relationship part. Another good advocate for us is our trade partners. Our drywallers, our plumbers, our painters, our heating and cooling technicians. Those are the people out there in the trenches getting dirty every day, and they want to be part of our company, because when we call them to get ready to hang drywall on the job, they show up and we're ready. They're ready to do their work. So they appreciate that, coming to a job and being ready to do your trade, not having to leave and say, you guys aren't ready yet. And then lastly, I think I'm up to 5. If not, I got a game changer as 6. But it would. You
can have 6. It's good.
It would definitely be my family. Something that we were talking about before we clocked on was just relationships, and my wife has been a huge supporter. I would never have made this venture 26 years ago if it weren't for her. And she had a lot of faith and trust in me that I don't know that I even had at that age. But nonetheless, she's been great. My kids have been very supportive. I'd like to say that I made most in all of their games and events, but I didn't. But they've forgiven me, and they wrote me beautiful Father's Day cards just recently reminding me that they appreciate the hard work that's been put into it. And then the game changer, folks, is my beloved golden retriever who's trapped behind a glass door, so I can't bring him in. But He's the real winner around here every day. He gets to wag his tail and be the greeter. So Russell.
Yet another commonality that we have, as I did not bring my brand new golden retriever, but here comes
Come here,
the
boy.
one and only buddy, Russell, who's coming in. But we do have golden retrievers, and
Come here,
I
Russ.
wholeheartedly agree that there is nothing better for office morale and to keep everybody moving than a furry friend like Russell, who so does not.
I don't
want to
think
be
he
picked
really
up.
wants to be on film. So, anyway, we tried.
That was a good game changer, though.
Yeah.
As always, you do a great job bringing the spirit and humor into anything, too. So we invite you to come back next month and learn a little bit more, and scroll back through our Facebook Lives here at the Cleary Company. The action coach that George mentioned in that business relationship, there's information about Action Coach and their Facebook Live. We've had various vendors, Hamilton Parker, as well as Ferguson and Greenscapes, and I'm trying to remember them all. And Kohler has been on our Facebook, so there's lots of good resources if you're looking for some new connections regarding home services of any kind. But of course, call Cleary, because George will answer your call and answer your questions. And if you have any marketing questions or anything that Burgie MediaFusion can help you out with, please feel free to reach out to us or reach out to the Cleary Company, and they'll connect you to us. We hope you have a great evening, and we thank you for joining in.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Have a great evening.